You are not just tired, you are being rewired. If you have been sleeping badly, snapping at people you love, forgetting simple things, or just feeling far away from everyone around you, this is not just a rough week. Something physical is happening inside your skull right now, and most people never learn what it is. Picture this. It's 11 p.m. You're lying in bed, exhausted, but your mind won't stop replaying an email you sent, a comment your boss made, or a fight you had with your partner. You wake up tired even after 8 hours. Small things, a dropped fork, a slow driver, suddenly feel unbearable. You forget why you walked into a room. And underneath all of it, there's this quiet feeling that you're carrying everything alone. If that sounds familiar, you are not broken. You are not lazy. Your brain is simply doing exactly what stress hormones tell it to do. Here's the part almost nobody explains clearly, and it comes straight from how neuroscientists study the brain under pressure. Stress on its own isn't the enemy. A short burst of it is actually useful. It's why you can suddenly focus before a big presentation, or find a burst of speed in a race. The problem starts when that burst never turns off, when the stress is not a single event, but your normal, everyday state. Overwork, constant arguments at home, a boss who never lets up. That kind of stress doesn't just make you feel bad. It reaches into your brain and starts changing its size, its wiring, and even how your genes behave. To understand why, you need to meet one system most people have never heard of, the HPA axis. Think of it as your body's alarm control center, a loop of communication between a part of your brain and glands near your kidneys. The moment your brain senses a threat, real or not, this system fires and releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is useful in small doses. It's your body's way of saying, get ready to act. But when cortisol stays high for weeks, months, or years, it starts to cause damage. Here's where it gets personal. That constant, low-grade stress you've been carrying is doing 3 specific things to your brain right now, whether you notice it or not. First, it grows your fear center. The amygdala, the part of your brain that senses danger, becomes more active and builds more connections under chronic stress. This is why small, harmless moments start to feel like emergencies. Your brain isn't overreacting on purpose. It has physically become more sensitive to threat. Second, it weakens the part of your brain that's supposed to calm you down. The hippocampus handles memory, learning, and, importantly, it's also in charge of telling your alarm system to stand down once the danger has passed. But high cortisol damages the signals inside the hippocampus over time. And here's the cruel twist. A weaker hippocampus means a weaker ability to control stress in the first place. It becomes a loop that feeds itself. Third, and this is the one that surprises most people, your brain can actually shrink. Long-term high cortisol wears down the connections between brain cells and shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focus, decision-making, and reading social situations well. It also slows down the creation of new brain cells in the hippocampus. Put together, this is why chronic stress can leave you struggling to concentrate or remember things. And over the long run, it raises the risk of serious conditions like depression, and later in life, Alzheimer's disease. Now you might be thinking, okay, but is this really about biology, or is this just people making excuses? Here's where the story gets genuinely strange, and it comes from a well-documented line of research on rats. Scientists found that how much a mother rat licked and groomed her newborn pups changed how those pups handled stress for the rest of their lives. Pups raised by attentive, nurturing mothers grew more cortisol receptors in their brains. These receptors act like sponges that soak up cortisol and calm the stress response down. Those pups grew into calmer, more stress-resistant adults. Pups raised by more neglectful mothers developed the opposite pattern. Fewer receptors, more sensitivity to stress for life. This is called an epigenetic change. It doesn't rewrite the DNA itself, but it changes which genes get switched on or off. And here's the detail that stunned researchers. This pattern could be passed down. The effect of just one mother rat's behavior showed up in her children, and her children's children, generations later. Nurture, quite literally, became biology, and that biology got inherited. If your stress has ever felt like something bigger than just your week going badly, this might be part of why. But this isn't a life sentence. Here's the part that actually gives you control back. Researchers have found two things that reliably reverse this damage: exercise and meditation, which really just means deep, slow breathing while paying calm attention to what's around you. Both of these don't just lower stress in the moment. Over time, they actually help the hippocampus grow back, which is part of why memory and focus tend to improve once stress comes down. So if you've been feeling foggy, irritable, or quietly overwhelmed, that's not a character flaw. That's cortisol doing exactly what it does to every human brain under constant pressure. The good news is your brain is not fixed in place. It responds to what you do next. If this changed how you see your own stress, tell me in the comments. What's one thing you've noticed chronic stress doing to your memory or your mood? And if you want to understand what's actually happening inside your head before it happens to your body, subscribe. Because next time, we're going to look at what stress is quietly doing to the rest of you.